It's April the 2nd, 2024. We have called the meeting to order for the City of Statesboro Mayor Council. We have our invocation of pledge of allegiance by Councilmember John Williams.
I'd like to ask Pastor John Waters, Dr. John Waters, if he'd be happy to give us the invocation this morning.
I will. Pray together. We acknowledge you, Lord, as the creator of this day, and we thank you for the grace you show us by particular and common means. And I pray for this city council. I pray for Mayor McCollar and his service and his ministry and his leadership. Bless him and these council members that pull alongside him. And may each of us continue to do our best to make this community a place where families thrive and where communities are healthy. And may this meeting be one that honors the citizens of this community and acknowledges your sovereignty and your eternal care. And I ask this prayer in the name of the one who changed my life, the one we call Jesus. In his name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, recognitions and public presentation. Agenda item 3A is a presentation of a proclamation recognizing April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. The proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are our most valuable resources and they are also our most vulnerable. All of Georgia's children have a right to be safe and an opportunity to thrive, learn, and grow in an environment that fosters healthy development. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be prevented by supporting and strengthening Georgia's families, thus preventing the far-reaching effects of child abuse and neglect, and providing the opportunity for children to develop healthy, trusting family bonds, and consequently building the foundation of communities. And whereas positive childhood experiences like loving caregivers and safe, stable, and nurturing relationships can help mitigate trauma and the negative impact of adverse childhood experiences to promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created within communities, among citizens, human services agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business sector, inspiring action from expected and unexpected partners in prevention. And whereas, by providing a safe, stable, and nurturing environment for our children, free of violence, abuse, and neglect, we can ensure that Georgia's children have access to the support they need to grow their full potential as the next generation of leaders, helping to secure the future of the state and nation. Now, therefore, I, Jonathan McCollar, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, do hereby proclaim April 24th as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Statesboro and urge families and communities to become involved in protecting Georgia's children. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Statesboro to be affixed this second day of April in the year 2024. And Leader, you want to call for it? How you doing? Doing good. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. That's good stuff. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, which is public comments. Clear?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 5, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the approval of the minutes of the March 19th council minutes. Also, consideration of a motion to approve the surplus of vehicles in the Statesboro Police Department that are past their service life are not used. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's show that agenda item 5 has passed. We're going to our public hearing, second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2024-01, or ordinance amending section 6-7E of the City of Statesboro Code of Ordinances, removing proximity requirements for on-premises consumption alcohol licenses in the delineated section of downtown. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane, if you would.
Mayor, Council, this is an amendment to 6-7E, which are the proximity requirements for on-premises sales of alcohol. Currently, no licenses for bars or bars with kitchens may be issued within 100 yards of church buildings, school building, educational buildings, school grounds, college campuses, etc. So 100-yard proximity, they can't go there. What we would do here at 6-7E would be amended with subsection 4 that those proximity requirements would not be in effect for that portion of downtown bound by Cherry Street to the south, Hill and Elm Streets to the north, College Avenue to the west, and Mulberry Street to the east. And Mayor Council, this is second reading after being tabled at the last meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you, Kane. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? All right, is there anyone here to speak against this request?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mostly wanted to come share a word of appreciation.
Name and address.
Well, I'm sorry. My name is John Waters, and I'm the lead pastor at First Baptist Church, which is located on 108 North Main Street here in downtown. And just wanted to take just a very brief moment with a word of appreciation for the work of the council. And almost every issue that comes to you seems to be thorny with lots of different sides. And we thank you for your work and your service. And so I wanted to thank you because we had a meeting last Tuesday to find out more information, and I had to leave with an emergency. And just want to come offer my apologies for that and thank you for your consideration. Since 1882, First Baptist Church has been located in downtown Statesboro, and for 141 years we've actually been on the same piece of property, just a couple blocks north of here. So we're deeply vested in downtown and the Statesboro community. And really our goal is to be a positive impact on the lives and the community and work on our shared values and our common commitments together. And when the first reading took place, it raised some questions, things we didn't understand. Maybe we had some partial information and some misinformation. But you all are very gracious under the leadership of Charles Penny and Kane Smith to provide a chance, a forum for us to talk and learn more. And that really was a generous and gracious spirit. So we thank you for that consideration. We especially thank you for the graciousness that was demonstrated on an issue that perhaps many people have opinions with. And so I wanted to thank you for that personally by coming to this meeting this morning. Particularly you, Mayor McCullough. The seat you sit in, sir, has everybody pulling at you one way or the other. But we thank you for your love and commitment to Statesboro and your willingness to serve in this post. And please know we pledge our prayers and encouragement to you in the days ahead. Particularly, we want to thank Charles Penny for his willingness to put together that information time to learn and share. And we found that to be helpful. And we thought it was a good, healthy process as well. And so we look forward to working together in the years ahead with shared values and a common commitment to the families and the people and the businesses. And we continue to, we don't plan to relocate out of downtown Statesboro. And so we always want to be a positive impact, linking arms together, seeing the common causes and the shared values that that bring us together. And we look forward to all of us together helping Statesboro to be a place where families thrive and businesses flourish. And so because I had to make an early exit at that other meeting, I felt it important to come and personally say thank you for your consideration and for your graciousness. And we pledge our continued prayers and encouragement to each of you as you serve the citizens of Statesboro and the larger Bullitt County region.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? I see that there is none. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Is there something to say?
You're going to-
Okay, thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we want to open it up to council discussion.
And I just wanted to say, that is my picture that's fake, and I think a lot of him. I also think a lot of First Baptist Church, and, John had asked me, had I heard from anybody? Well, I did eventually hear from some people, and, the church, I feel like, is very supportive of the community, and I'm proud to be a part of a church like that supports the city. I think everybody just wants to make sure that whatever comes, since there's events and stuff at nighttime, especially on Wednesday nights when something might be open, that children won't be affected by any kind of bar like that. But the church does realize that, it is their responsibility to love people. And I'm just glad to have that support, but I did want to let everybody know that because I think that's important for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if I can take a moment of privilege and I'll pass it back to council. Pastor Waters, we appreciate everything First Baptist does. Generous people, and I believe that's rooted in the congregation that's been there for so long. So we just want to say thank y'all for everything that you guys do within the community. And I will say that it's a congregation of people that don't look for accolades; they just work in faith. And so we definitely want to say thank you guys for everything that you do. Absolutely. I'll turn it back over to council. I apologize if I use a point of privilege on that one.
No.
Well, just for some clarification, was the church in support of it, or what did the meeting, what conspired in the meeting?
So what happened in the meeting is we shared the rationale for recommending to the mayor and council that we change remove the proximity waiver, in particular for the business district of downtown. So as to, and the main purpose of it was, if you look at our downtown trying to create a vibrant community, we think about the fact that any storefront could become a church. And once that storefront becomes a church, then the proximity would take away a business opportunity. And so it wasn't throwing it wide open to all the central business district. We were restricted at the East and West Main Street. And we shared that information with them. And what we also indicated was, in the case of First Baptist is actually protected because that 100-yard proximity does not go away from there. The closest one would be the Methodist Church. However, when we look at that property, there are no businesses in that immediate area. Could be some on South Main Street. But what we shared with them is that council still has a final word on any business that could possibly go into any of these locations. And depending upon the individual records and all that, council could deny alcohol license even in the area that we are removing that proximity requirement. As far as, again, we were just sharing information, and we didn't ask First Baptist if you support this or not. We just simply explained what the rationale was for bringing this matter before council, because we have seen there was a storefront church that was on West Main Street, and it did cause some concern. It limited some businesses from being able to go into our downtown area. And in fact, in the last couple of months, you had a license that came before you, and that building was still under the name of a church. That the poorhouse actually had to come in and ask you for permission, but that church became a moot issue. And so we explained all of that, and we still recommend the ordinance to council in the hopes of being able to promote a thriving business section for downtown station.
And Steph, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's just say that the church that was there before Bull and Barrel. would that church have prevented Bull and Barrel from being able to move into that space if under our current situation?
Not a little bit.
Not Bull and Bear, because they have a restaurant
Restaurant.
license classification, so restaurants and pubs are allowed to, y'all are allowed to give proximity waivers for them as well as low volume. The sticking point becomes bars and bars with kitchens. Those are the ones that are not allowed to proceed with their applications if they're within proximity.
The bars with kitchens, would that be kind of like a poorhouse that has like some snacks and things and not like a full-blown
It's
restaurant?
going to be contingent, the bars with kitchens is going to be contingent on the percentage of alcohol to food sales.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion by council?
I just want to say, you know, just so the church knows, and Methodist and First Baptist, if anything comes before us that I personally, as a Christian, feel would disrupt either church, you know, I will be glad to do my part to take care of that. And I think the churches understand this is good for the community. But just know this is why it's important who you vote for and who you put in office. Because these people up here that I'm with, I know have great morals, and y'all can 100% trust us. And it's important to always vote and get out and vote, because we may not always be up here, but we will do our part when we're here. So.
Thank you. Any further from council?
I was gonna say the same thing. I can, if something were to go into Cooperative Union and it were to affect, or if something were to go in here next to, First Methodist, and First Methodist opposed it, I know that all of us, I know what we would do.
Yeah.
But the people that are gonna be here 5 years, 10 years from now, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But, Dad just tell people, like she said, get out, but, yeah. But I can tell you, I'm in favor of this, and I'm gonna vote for it, but I'm here to vote against anything that is going to disrupt our religious flow.
Yeah.
So I'm always here for our church. I like it the way it is. I wish things would stay the same. But it can't, it's gonna change, so I'm here to help it move in the right direction. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'll just make a comment. I appreciate the Friends of the Drug and Alcohol Abuse Council showing up and monitoring things going on, and they have expressed concerns about it, and I hear those concerns. I'm not going to vote against it. I'm going to go with the recommendation of staff for the same reasons you've already heard. But I do want to thank y'all for showing up, for caring, and for helping to keep us informed and from y'all's area of expertise. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let it show that agenda item 6 has passed. We'll move on to agenda item 7, which is another public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance Section 6-13A. Vino 1910 Wine Bar LLC, 22 West Main Street, Statesboro, Georgia 30458, license type bar with kitchen. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? All right. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Is it? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there any discussion by council?
Yeah, where is this one? Where's 22 West Main Street? Is that on the other side of Bull and Barrel or this side?
No, this side right here.
This side. Okay, where the old.
It's a real classy establishment. It is. I mean, they led the way, I feel like, for what we're trying to do downtown. It's real classy, real nice place.
Anybody else? All right. All right. Okay. Is there a motion to close it?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any further council discussion? Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. Phil, we just approved a private jet. We're moving on to agenda item 8, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-07, a resolution requesting approval to apply for assistance fire prevention and safety grant for the city of Statesboro. Mr. Penny, any insight?
Mayor, we annually apply for these, this firefighter grant. In particular, this one is for the fire safety house. It was a cost of about $8,500. And then we would just have to match that with 5%. And so we believe it's important to be able to teach our children about fire safety, and hopefully, this will be approved and submitted. So we just recommend that you approve the submittal.
Okay. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9, citing that agenda item 8 is passed. Consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-08, a resolution approving the city of Statesboro proposed amendment of the FY 2024 street servicing program and authorizing the mayor to execute the supplemental GDOT local maintenance improvement grant. There are no matching funds required. Mr. Perry.
Mayor, members of the council, annually you approve submittal for LMIG funds. And in this case, the government and the legislature saw fit to provide some additional funds. And so instead of just being able to spend $1.3 million on road resurfacement, we would actually be able to spend almost $1.8 million this year for road resurfacement. So we added some additional streets to it. And in this case, there's no match requirement, so we do recommend approval. And the streets are listed in the agenda.
All right. Any discussion by council?
Yes, thank you. So most of this money is coming from T-Splosh like it normally does, but then we got extra to do more.
Yeah, you got two rounds of LMIG. 300 and some thousand the first time that we submitted to you already. So here comes another 400 and some $1,000. And there may be another round somewhere else, because with what the government and them allowing us to do, we actually can submit for some additional funding that you don't have to spend this year. So, but right now, what you have before you is this additional 400 and, make sure I get the number right, $439,730.
Thank you.
And Charles, normally the match is 30%.
Yes, and this time it's 5.
This is
For
free.
this, we don't have to match anything. Because we'd already done the 355,000. And typically, y'all have been doing about 700,000. In the last year, we upped that to $1 million from our T-Splosh. So we were gonna spend 1.3 anyway. And so now it's almost $1.8 million on road research.
Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 10, citing that 9 is passed, which is consideration of a motion to award a contract not to exceed the amount of $57,775 with Granston for professional design services for the Anderson Street pavement project. This project will be paid by T-Splosh funds. Mr. Bennett, any insight?
The only thing I'm gonna say to you is this will be the last unpaved street in Statesboro. We recommend approval of the 57,000. And the other part is that the property owners, there's a project going on down in that area, and they're actually gonna provide the right of way. So we highly recommend approval of the $57,000.
All right. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right.
Maybe y'all should give yourself a hand.
Yeah, that's Anderson Street going straight out, East Main. That's the field district. Yeah. The old, market, that was right down there.
That open air, yeah, visual.
Yeah,
Just before that.
yeah, just before that, so,
There's a question. Since we passed T-Splosh, do you have any idea about how many miles of roads between LMIG and our own money that we repaved in the last 4 or 5 years?
No, not off the top of my head, but we are compiling a data page on the city website to be able to show all our T-Splosh
I mean, but we're up to about 4 or 5 miles a year at this point, right? Give or take?
John has his hand up.
In the last 3 years, we paid 13, 14 miles. We're doing about 6 miles per year,
Okay.
which is, before I started here, it was like 1 mile.
Yeah,
So with this additional funding, we're also able to reconstruct some roads that are in much deteriorated condition.
Redoing curb and that kind of stuff. I just wanted to point that out so when folks, see that T-Splosh coming up in 18 months, know that all this black pavement you see, all that shiny new white concrete, all these new sidewalks, all of that in some way, shape, or form is connected to T-Splosh to work.
Now, we just passed T-Splosh last year, so we're good for the.
Well, that's right. Well, when they're paying it, then they'll know it's coming in. It's just important to point those out from time to time.
It's a
So people know where their one penny, where that's going. Well, when you see that stuff out there, that's where that one penny is going here inside the city.
it's made a huge impact,
Yeah, it is, it
the
is,
city and the county.
yeah. Well, I know what the conversation was, before, so, yeah.
All those people who are bragging about our new sidewalks and making this city more walkable, this is all part of it. We gotta do that, to get folks out and able to safely walk around the town.
Mhm.
It's multimodal, for
Yes.
sure.
And just a quick question, is it fair to say that, I don't know, a mile costs about $300,000 or $400,000 to resurface? Yeah, depending on the condition of the street, how much, if you have to do, that reclamation and all that. If it's just a resurfacing, that's pretty cheap, but if you have to do a full reconstruction. But hopefully, we're getting, because of the information that we're getting the streets before they get in the poor condition, and that saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, before T-Splosh, all we had to stretch our dollars out and rely heavily on GDOT funds primarily. And we would basically just resurface whatever was there. I mean, patch a few bad spots, but resurface whatever was there. But with T-Splosh, when we have the funds to do it the right way, we're able to go in there, like John said, and rehabilitate some roadways, deep patch where necessary. Brampton Avenue is on this list. It's in dire need of some patching before we resurface. A lot of the roads we've been going in with some milling before we resurface. So we're able to put the asphalt layer back, surface layer back where it was. Whereas in the past, we didn't have the funds to do all of that. So the roads just kept getting thicker and thicker, and you see the drop off into the curb and gutter, which is problematic, particularly if you're on a bicycle.
All right,
It's all
thank you.
good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And I do want to tip my hat to our council and staff, for everything that they've done, to make this moment happen. But this is, Anderson has been an enigma. In the sense that, I was waiting for the day that we was going to be able to do that. So that day is finally here. And so we get to say that not one single road is unpaved in the city of St. Louis. So that's good. We'll move. Yeah, it's L&D, I believe. Yeah, we used to go there all the time. L&D, yeah, you know where it's at. Okay, you know the thing.
Get my haircut.
There you go. We'll move down to agenda item 11, considering that 10 is passed. Consideration motion to execute a professional services agreement with Hussey Gate Dale Engineering Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $49,000 to provide design, bid, surveying, and contract administration services for the extension of 2,250. I don't know what the LF stands for.
Linear feet.
Yeah, linear feet of water main on Broad Street to be paid for with funds from the operating revenue approved in the CIP budget item WWD-166. Mr. Penny.
Mayor and council, again, this is important stuff for our infrastructure. We're actually going to be, this line is in real bad need of upgrading. It's a 2-inch line. And so with this design, we'll be able to go to an 8-inch water line. And so we recommend approval of this design contract with Hussey Gate Dale.
All right, thank you. Anything from council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
I learned something today. We'll move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of a knuckle boom gravel trash collection truck with a 2024 Freightliner M2 chassis and Pac Mac body per source well contract with Solid Waste Applied Technology in the amount of $222,000. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, I just recommend approval. I just tell you how old I am. When these knuckle boom loaders first came out, we were able to buy them for about $65,000 a year. And now you have to pay $222,000 for them, but they are very important to us being able to provide quality service in our neighborhoods and go around and pick up all that heavy trash that needs to be picked up. So we recommend approval.
Well, I can tell you a lot of cities too are considering getting rid of that particular service. So that's a nice service that we have here. It helps people keep their yards clean.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff too helps prevent, fire issues too, when you're cleaning up all that stuff. So.
Yeah. That's good. Any further comment, questions or comments from council?
Gotta drive it.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to agenda item 13, which is consideration of a motion to approve change order number 1 in the amount of $56,742 for the blower and pump upgrades project at the wastewater treatment plant to be paid for with funds included in the project budget WTP 24 that was approved by council on August 9th, 2023. Mr. Penny.
Mayor and council, this is important. This is just a small part of a $2 billion project. And I can't explain it to you, but it's important at the waste treatment plant. We do recommend approval for this purchase.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any comments from council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 14, other business from city council. Any other business from city council?
Were you going to introduce our UKS president? I'll leave that to you then. We can call attention to the fact we've got First Friday coming up this Friday night. Alan, tell us what great things are happening downtown Friday night.
Thank you, Sheriff, Councilman Barr. It's an art walk, so it's a taste. We've got artists and a lot of us. It's an art walk. Alamo through downtown Statesboro Belt Authority. Sherry Barr is one of my favorite attendees, and thank you for coming. I think you come to all of them, don't you? So anyway, it's an art walk. So we're really proud of our community. We like art in downtown. We like our art park when it gets there. And so if you come downtown, I think we got 84 vendors. So we like our vendors too. And so you'll do a walk through downtown and go to different shops and check out the artwork. So, but thank you for supporting us, and look forward to seeing you Friday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's how I've met a lot of local artists, because they partner with local businesses. You go in a business, you meet an artist, see them painting or making jewelry or collage or whatever they do. So it's a fun event. All of our First Fridays are good. It's free downtown family fun, a street festival. So if you don't already, make your habit. Come check it out. It's a fun thing.
Alone.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Any further from council? All right. Seeing that there's none, we'll go down to city manager comments.
Mayor, members of council, in your FYI packet, the first thing I just mentioned to you, we do plan to continue with our Downtown Lives concert series, and the first one is April the 18th at 7 o'clock. We did change the starting time from 6 to 7, and the first act out will be the TAMs. And so we're kicking off with TAMs. We highly recommend it. We're praying for nice spring weather. So, and this year we're going from 4 concerts to 8. And so we call that to your attention. Also want to just call to your attention the notice of the annexation memo, and that is the property out in the western part.
Yeah, it's at the intersection of Country Club and Cypress Avenue.
we discussed this at some of this property at retreat. And so that's the beginning of that process. And so just call that to your attention. And then the other one, this is a good one. Not all of them are good. The Ramble Road Sewer Main Extension. If you remember, we did Fox Lake last year, and that was with ARPA funds. And so now we're ready to do the Ramble Road Sewer Main Extension. And so we're having a meeting here on April the 9th, and we're inviting citizens from that neighborhood to come and to learn about what we're offering. And hopefully we can get citizens to willingly sign up to allow us to extend sewer and make the sewer tap for them at no cost, because we're using these federal funds. And so I just wanted to call that to your attention. And then the last thing I have the pleasure of introducing our new KUB coordinator and Charlie Kinship. And Charlie, if you'll come up, I just got a chance to meet Charlie on yesterday, and she is she brings to us a great deal of training. She's a graduate of the University of North Georgia, business administration and anthropology, and she's also an entrepreneur. She loves the environment, and so she has an eco-friendly boutique called Kinship Endeavors in Statesboro, right down there off North Side by Walker's Pharmacy. Is it together? Is it in the same building? Same building. And so, y'all had appointed her to the Greenville Borough Commission. She'll be coming off that because she's staff, but you have another opportunity there. But she'll be available to assist Marcos if needed. And so we're excited that we have Charlie, and so we want to introduce her to you this morning. Everybody knows.
Well, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
She works to keep Statesboro beautiful. She works for John Washington.
She's the KSBB coordinator. Amanda Clements was in her role previously.
Oh, I'm so happy to meet you. I'm in the garden, need your assistance.
Give me some time. We'll have lots of endeavors.
She's a self-starter. She came in and she started just going through the things. She's already been involved with planning events and got the calendar laid out for the year. So I'm very happy to have her on board.
There you go.
I can't wait to sit down and have a conversation.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime. Nice to meet you all.
But I would also just say to the mayor and council, and I told Charlie this on yesterday, the fact that the mayor and council saw fit to make this position a full-time position instead of a part-time position, we were able to keep Amanda for at least 3 years. We hope Charlie's going to be here longer, but it does keep from having constant turnover, so you're able to really get a good program in place. So we appreciate the council for that.
It also sends a message that we're dedicated to that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I think that's good.
Yeah, no, you. Thank you. Mayor and council, that's all I had.
And so
Mayor, I'll also comment that KSBB person has been active and supported the tree board. So it all works together. So and Charlie has plenty of background to continue to support that. So I'm thrilled she's on staff.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I just wanted to make one comment about Ramble Road so that, the public knows. You connect now to the city because we pay for federal funds. No cost, all the equipment, all the digging, putting the sod back, the whole 9 yards. If you decide not to do it today and you do it down the road when your septic tank fails because you realize replacing your septic tank is going to cost way more, that they're going to have to pay for the tap and the whole 9 yards, right? So, I mean, do it now while you can. I mean, folks in the neighborhood have wanted it for a long time. Just put it that way. Almost as long as they've been hoping for a Red Lobster. We'll just do that. It's a long time.
To Mr. Boyer's point now, we did have a couple of property owners in Fox Lake that did not take advantage of. And so we hope citizens will take advantage of this opportunity to have the sewer tap to take care. And then we also think collapse the septic tank. So,
There's just some septic tank love out there. I don't know why, but yeah, hook up now. Otherwise, it won't be a zero cost option later on.
I don't understand. Okay, we moved on to public comments, and we have, Ms. Charlotte Spells, signed up. Hey, Charlotte.
Hey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. So I am Charlotte Spell. I am the executive director of a collaborative called Let's Be Clear Georgia. And we focus on marijuana prevention education, not marijuana prevention, but prevention education and advocacy. And so today I'm here to talk to you about my personal grave concern with all of the different vape shops, smoke shops, and now dispensaries that are popping up all over Statesboro. And I think this ties in with keeping Statesboro beautiful because they're not always so attractive. I have put my glasses on to see my notes. I recently saw an ad promoting the sale of CBD, THC, and mushrooms. Now, what comes to mind when you hear those items? Also, my 10-year-old daughter was in the car with me, so I then had to explain these are not mushrooms that we put on our pizza or in our spaghetti. But she hears a lot about this stuff because of me. Products being sold at these outlets are potentially harmful and addictive. My main concern is regarding the plethora of hemp-derived THC products and nicotine that's in kid-friendly flavors. So if you are familiar with any of the Juul controversy, whenever they were making the kid-friendly flavors, and the FDA came out and they said, okay, you can no longer make these kid-friendly flavors. That's hard to say 3 times fast. So there's always somebody who finds a loophole, right? So they said, okay, well that's not the disposable pods. These were ones that people keep and they refill. So then other companies started making disposable pods, which there was no ruling against the flavors in those types of products. So I'm going to be brief on this, but just to let you know about cannabis is the mother plant. So cannabis has 2 kids, hemp and marijuana. And I just wanted to read to you an excerpt from this letter dated March 20th of this year, so less than 2 weeks ago. This letter has been signed by 21 state attorney generals, including Chris Carr from Georgia. It is to Congress and the Committee on Agriculture. The Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, which we mostly know as the Farm Bill, seemed clear at the time in its intentions, reintroducing industrial hemp as an agricultural commodity, while maintaining existing federal prohibitions on cannabis products and their use, cannabis being both hemp and marijuana. Nevertheless, bad actors have exploited the 2018 Farm Bill's definition of hemp. The reality is that this law has unleashed a flood of products that are nothing less than a more potent form of cannabis, which is important, often in candy form that is made attractive to youth and children, and some adults, with staggering levels of potency. These words are very important, the staggering levels of potency. No regulation and no oversight. Many states now face poisonings from poorly manufactured products with misleading labels. There are benefits to CBD, but it is not regulated, which means I could have 2 products that I've purchased, and one, if I go have it lab tested, may be CBD with no THC. The other may be labeled that it's completely CBD, but have above the legal limit of THC because they're not regulated. As hemp-based THC-infused products increase in popularity, particularly edibles, illicit suppliers have begun co-opting legitimate name brands and packaging to sell candy, snacks, and cereal that are intoxicating and confusing to consumers. So if you go into any of these shops, you may find things that look like traditional candy items. So instead of, and the first one I noticed was in a store that it looked like Fruity Pebbles. It had the cartoon characters on there. And my daughter was like, "Ooh, Fruity Pebbles, like the cereal," but it was not. It was Fruity Pebbles with Delta 8 THC in them. So this is a grave concern. Research published in the Journal of Pediatrics tells us that the number of children under age 6 accidentally ingesting consumable edibles jumped 1,375% between 2017 and 2021. So the Farm Bill changed the definition in 2018. So that's how much it increased. Now, children under 6 are not out purchasing these products, right? It's their parents, their siblings, even their babysitters. And then they find it. And half of these are toddlers. You know what toddlers do? They toddle around looking what they can get into. And if they see something that looks like candy, they're going to eat it. So if you can take yourself way back to 1990s, I know that's way back, just ask any teenager. They're like, oh, you're from the 1900s. The weed that people were smoking in the 90s had a THC content of around 4 to 5%. Today's weed has on average between 25 and 30% THC. Is just in its regular form is more potent. These hemp-derived products come in all kinds of forms, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we know CBD and we know THC. Let me give you a little alphabet soup here. We now have Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, and Delta 11. We have THC, THCA, THCO, THCP, and THCV. There's also HHC and HHCP. Now, when a person sees these products, are they going to know what in the world this stuff is? No, they're going to rely on whoever's there to convince them that this is going to help you sleep or this is going to help your anxiety. But in fact, the THCO, of course I looked all this stuff up, is 3 times as strong as the regular THC. The THCP is 33 times as strong. Why is this a concern? Because the use of higher potency cannabis products is associated with increased risk for psychosis and suicidal ideation, especially among youth. And if you've been paying any attention to the suicide rates among our youth, it's detrimental. It is like the highest it's been. Teens who begin vaping nicotine, so these kid-friendly flavored nicotine vapes, are 20 times more likely to move on to vaping cannabis. Congress has the next few months to figure out what they're going to do. Hopefully, they will listen to these 21 states and hopefully more that will come on board. And what we say, close the loophole. But for now, what local jurisdictions can do is put a moratorium on the opening of any more of these types of outlets. I do have an example. On February 7th of last year, the Milwaukee Common Council unanimously voted to enact a 6-month moratorium on new vape shops opening as the city explores long-term solutions to address this issue. And so it really bothered me. I mean, I've been bothered by seeing the number of them, but that billboard just really ate me up. Yeah. And I'm not going to name the name of it, but if you see it, check them out on Facebook. They are very open to say we're here to get high. It is not to be healed. It is to get high. So, thank you.
Oh, you have a copy of that letter that we can get?
I can email it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tracy.
Okay.
John, can we answer some questions?
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask y'all some questions? This is just who regulates these people? It's the state, right? It's not us.
They're not regulated.
They're not regulated.
No, tobacco is, the nicotine is,
right.
Not the hemp products.
But not the hemp, even if it's smokable, I guess, or
right.
Whatever.
So if you go into a shop and you see the actual flower weed, like people would crush and roll up and smoke.
That's illegal.
The THCA, if people consume it raw, it's not psychoactive. But once they heat it up, it converts it into THC, which is psychoactive. So that's how they get around being able to sell things that are going to get people high.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of chemistry there.
I know it.
And in one of the local shops, they actually have that a sign there that says THCA, and it tells you, once heated, to produces psychoactive effects. So they're letting the customer know that this is what it is for.
So right now, the only legal restriction is people under 21 can't buy it, is that correct?
Well, I'm not sure about that because before this legislative session, there was no age restriction. My 10-year-old could have walked in there and bought any of these hemp-derived products. There was a bill introduced in this session, and I tried to look it up last night to see if it passed, that would create an age restriction of 21. So I'm not sure if that passed or not. But I know prior to this legislative session, there was no age restriction.
Teenagers can't even buy cigarettes, is that still
Right.
the case?
Right. It's still the case for nicotine.
How old do you have to be to go in one of these vape shops?
Some of them have signs that you have to be 18 or older. I think there's some that say 21, and then there's some that don't have signs.
But there is a legal limit, right? You have to be at least 18, right?
It's not a law.
It's not really? Okay.
Well, for cigarettes still, but not the other ones.
But they can enter the building.
Yeah.
But there are some businesses that try to, be proactive and put a sign that says you need to be 18 or 21.
But it's not like alcohol where they can get in trouble if they don't check the license.
Right. It's not like trying to walk into a bar and flipping a fake ID to get in. Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, I share your surprise. I remember, someone telling me what Delta 8 was, and I was like, it can't be. And they were saying, trying to tell me how they got around it. Then my pharmacist, he's invested in, there's some pot farm in Patnell County, inside, and they're making high grades, whatever. I don't know who they're selling to.
They sell to Botanical Science, which is a medical dispensary.
Yeah.
So they're not selling the stuff that's in these shops.
What's so surprising is to tell me that it's gummies. It's gummy candy, but it's.
Right. And I don't know if any of you saw this went viral over the weekend about the dog that got into the gummies. I mean, it was like a little dog. It was an adult dog, 10 years old. But the pet sitter had brought her gummies, and the dog got into it. And long story short, the dog went crazy. They had to take it to the vet and escape the vet and was finally rescued. But yeah, so it's dangerous for your pets too. I mean, it's not. When they say take one gummy, a kid or a dog's not gonna.
I will say that since 2017, is that when the agricultural?
2018.
2018? The law has not caught up with how fast these people are moving with.
No. I mean, it's like if you look up,
but
those letters that I just called out, they just continue to change and add more and more and more. Like THCP, who's ever heard of THCP?
And they keep adding.
Yeah. So basically, there's like 120 different cannabinoids in the plant, so they could come up with 120 different sets of those letters. And then.
Mr. Mayor, as John said, nicotine products are regulated by the state, which means, these stores are being visited for ID checks, because they do ID checks on anybody that sells cigarettes or alcohol throughout the state. So the Department of Revenue is involved. My only suggestion would be to have Kane reach out to our GMA council and see what kind of rules, regulations we're either able to do or not able to do to put some kind of regulations on these merchants. I wouldn't have any idea what that would be, so I'm sure Kane doesn't either. So let's kick it up the chain and see if we can get an answer.
Well, there's a reason why these states' attorneys general reached out to Congress, because that's who has the power to regulate those cannabinoids that she's referring to.
Right.
They were all essentially made legal during the 2018 Farm Bill. The authority to do that sort of regulation rests solely with Congress. That's why these 21 attorneys general sent the letter to Congress, because they understand exactly where that regulatory ability is, and it's not local. Now, of course, a moratorium or something, that's a whole other thing, but as far as actually regulatory, no. that has to come from Congress. Because there's not, I hate to say there's never a local solution to federal issues, but there's almost never a local solution to federal issues. The federal issues are fixed by Congress.
So we can regulate neon signs, can't we?
Yeah.
So there are ways.
Well, not when, but there are not when there is specific, like in the 2018 Farm Bill that they're legal.
Sure.
That's different. There's nothing saying specifically that neon signs are legal. There is a federal law saying that these cannabinoids are legal.
Right.
So it is different.
Well, since you mentioned neon signs, with advertising.
Sometimes, you know, these buildings are rather garish and.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, we can.
When the state created its rules around marijuana, before all of this happened with the hemp, there's restriction on advertising. But, like I said, there's advertising now that's going up with THC, mushrooms, and all these other sort of things. So that can be dealt with locally, advertising restrictions. I do hate to see these banners flying, you know, that say THC or whatever. It's just, it's unpleasant.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Any further public comments? All right. Seeing that there is none, move on to agenda item 17, which is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, real estate, and/or litigation in accordance to OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Mayor, is it for all three of them?